Ambe Steels, J Bancha, Diko Bancha. Pentagon International College, Tinkune, Kathmandu, where excellence prevails. Real, Jamghar jaha real party pack tyaha.
Proud to be associated with Kantipur News.
Good afternoon, I am April Singh Lama and these are the headlines of the hour. Nepali nationals left stranded in Kerung after flood swept away Miteri Bridge to be brought back home after alternative route. Government urges China for support. New fiscal year 2082-83 begins from today. Experts and investors stress the need to implement budgetary provisions, effectively saying the expected level of recovery has yet to be achieved. Israeli military strikes Syrian Defense Ministry in Damascus and government forces in southern Syria for third day Wednesday as deadly Scythian fighting in Sweden. And Nepal's women's national team captain Sabitra Bhandari signs with Wellington Phoenix, a club in Australia's top-tier A-League women. Welcome back. Nepali nationals left stranded in Kerung after the recent flood swept away Miteri Bridge are being brought back home through alternative route. According to Chief District Officer Arjun Podal, the government through Ministry of Foreign Affairs has urged the Chinese government to bring back 1,200 Nepali nationals. The Chinese side has been looking after the food and accommodation of the stranded Nepali nationals. Those stranded include 91 drivers and conductors of freight vehicles. 117 others stranded following the flood have urged the Chief District Officer to help them return. Now, the new fiscal year 2082-83 BS has begun from today, and the national budget presented on Jester 15 by Finance Minister Bishnu Prasad Podal amounting to 1.964 trillion Nepali rupees has officially come into effect. While last year's economy showed signs of slowdown this time, gradual improvements are now being observed. A modest rise in consumer demand has led to increased industrial sales and exports. However, experts and investors stress the need to implement budgetary provisions effectively as the expected level of recovery has yet to be achieved.
In Asar 2081, industries were operating at 35% capacity. That has increased to 50% this year. However, even with this improvement, 50% capacity is not enough to create the needed jobs or stimulate the broader economy. According to government data, sectors such as industry, construction and wholesale retail trade, which showed negative growth over the past 2 years, have now turned positive. The industrial sector, which contracted by 2.02% in the 2080-81 fiscal year, is projected to grow by 3.78% in 2081-82. The construction sector, which saw a 2.2% contraction last year, is expected to grow by 2.21% due to increased import and production of construction materials. The wholesale and retail trade sector, which had shrunk by 0.36%, is projected to rise by 3.30% this year. Despite these signs of progress, ordinary citizens have yet to feel the impact.
तर अब रिसेन्टली हामीले यो जुनको एन्डमा यो डेढ महिना अगाडिको डेटा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो इन्डस्ट्रीहरुको क्यापेसिटी युटिलाइजेसन अलिकति बढेको हामीले पाएका छौं र थोरै भए पनि अलिकति मुभमेन्ट अलिकति बढ्न खोजेको हो कि भन्ने चाहिँ भान भएको छ र अहिले यो बजेट र मोनेटरी पोलिसीले पनि थोरै एक्सपेन्सनरी हिसाबले बजारलाई चलायमान गराउने इकोनोमीलाई अलिकति मुभमेन्ट दिने खालको प्रोभिजन्सहरु आएको छ त्यो कारणले पनि अलि हुन सक्छ तर जति हाम्रो सोच हो जति हामीले चाहेका हौ त्यति चाहिँ डेफिनेटली भएको छैन.
Foreign trade data also supports the idea of a gradually improving economy. However, experts say this is still not enough. By Jester 2082, Nepal had imported goods worth 1.644 trillion rupees, a 13.1% increase from the same period last year. Exports reached 247 billion, which is a significant 77.8% increase. Yet, such modest improvements are far from fulfilling the hopes for development and prosperity. Foreign exchange reserves rose from 2.041 trillion in Asar 2081 to 2.569 trillion by the end of Jesta. Government cash reserves jumped from 93.96 billion to 339 billion rupees in the same period. Out of the targeted revenue collection of 1.419 trillion rupees, the government collected 1.121 trillion, which is 79% of the target by the end of Asar. However, a troubling trend persists. Development spending spikes only in the final month of the fiscal year, which affects quality. Out of 352 billion rupees allocated for development, only 222 billion, which is 63.2%, was spent by Asar 31st, although this was 31 billion rupees higher than the previous year.
अहिलेको इकोनोमिक इन्डिकेटरहरूले अर्थतन्त्र सुधारोन्मुख छ भन्ने कुरा देखाउँछ। जस्तो गत सालको हेर्दाखेरि हाम्रो जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट लगभग 3.87% मात्रै थियो। के तीनटा सेक्टरहरुमा नेगेटिभ ग्रोथ थियो। अर्थतन्त्र चाहिँ रिकभरीको फेजमा जान थालेको भन्ने स्पष्ट चाहिँ यसले संकेत दिन्छ। यसरी हेर्दाखेरि हाम्रो बाह्य क्षेत्र पनि फेरि सुधारोन्मुख छ। यसमा राम्रै छ, तर राजस्वमा अलिकति ग्रोथ रेट कम छ।
Investment climate, a key economic indicator, remains fragile. Despite falling interest rates, loan demand has not picked up as expected, indicating that economic environment is still not conducive. In Asar last year, banks were sitting on around 400 billion in idle funds. That has now climbed to 744 billion. Business leaders argue that credit must flow into productive sectors like industry to stimulate investment.
यसमा चाहिँ अब इमिडिएट सल्युसन भनेको अहिले क्यापिटल मार्केट रियल स्टेटहरु यो यसले चाहिँ थोरै भए पनि इकोनोमीलाई अलिअलि चलायमान बनाउँछ। मनी पोलिसीमा पनि आएको छ, बजेटमा पनि त्यसको रिफ्लेक्सन भएको छ। त्यो सँगसँगै रियल सेक्टरमा त्यो क्यापिटल फर्मेसन हुने खालको सेक्टरमा पनि चाहिँ लगानी बढ्नुपर्छ। त्यसले लङ टर्ममा हाम्रो इकोनोमी चाहिँ दरिलो बनाउँछ र त्यसको प्रतिफल दिगो हुन्छ भन्ने हो।
Even though most economic indicators are improving and inflation is declining, lack of loan demand in the market reveals government inaction in fully reviving the economy. To expand the economy, it is crucial to increase consumer purchasing power and stimulate demand. For this, the policy measures outlined in the new budget must be implemented immediately. Yet, while Nepal's leadership has proven adept at policy making, they consistently fall short on execution. With Hem Prasai on camera, a report by Sudil Pokhrel for Kantipur News, Kathmandu.
Today marks the first day of the Nepali month of Shravan and the celebration of the Saune Sangrati festival. Traditionally, Saune Sangrati is observed on the day when the sun completes its transit through Gemini, known as the Mithun Rasi, and enters Cancer, known as Karkat Rasi. The festival is celebrated with rituals such as bathing, offering donations and gathering with family and friends for merriment. From this day onward, the sun begins its southward journey, marking the beginning of southern solstice, while northern solstice starts on Magh 1st. Both days are celebrated as significant transitions in the solar calendar. After a month of intense agricultural work during the month of Asar, the rice planting season, farmers use the day to cleanse themselves of mud and dirt. A ritual called Luto Falme, which is known as ridding skin diseases, is practiced to prevent and treat skin-related ailments caused by constant exposure to muddy water. According to religious scholars, the ritual holds spiritual and medicinal significance. The entire month of Shravan is considered sacred and is specially dedicated to Lord Shiva. Women wear green bangles and clothes symbolizing a connection with nature. Shiva temples across Nepal, especially the Pashupatinath temple, see large gatherings of devotees throughout the month. Mondays in Shravan are particularly significant as they are regarded as Lord Shiva's special day. Now it is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's today's question. Who is responsible for the delay in transitional justice process? Your options are A. Political parties and the government, B. Rights activists and victims, C. Lack of sensitivity, or D. Prefer not to comment. Visit www.kantipurtv.com or www.ekantipur.com to share your opinion with us. A worker at an under-construction building for a cooperative in Pastor's Nanda has died of suffocation during the sorting process of a septic tank. The deceased has been identified as 38-year-old Ratna Chemjong. According to the district police office, Pastor Chemjong was found unconscious yesterday evening. 3 others, 24-year-old Bhisma Chemjong, 40-year-old Biru Chemjong and 30-year-old Sangeet Chemjong were also found unconscious. Ratna was declared dead as he was taken to the hospital after rescue. Bhisma Chemjong's condition is reported critical and has been kept at Chapa's Birta City Hospital. Now, last week, the Madhya province government declared the region a drought-affected area after little to no rainfall during the Nepali month of Ashad, the main rice planting season. Widely known as Nepal's grain basket, Madhya is now facing a severe agricultural crisis. The provincial government has called on the federal government to provide a relief package for farmers as the drought threatens not only the country's goal of rice self-sufficiency but also raises serious concerns about future food security. Experts are now recommending alternative crops as a viable solution.
According to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, only 33% of rice planting has been completed in Madhya so far, compared to 61% during the same period last year. Due to lack of rainfall, rice seedlings in nurseries across all 8 districts of Madhya and parts of Western Tarai are drying up or aging. Farmers are left hoping for rainfall.
बहुत दिक्कत से खेती हो रहल बा मोटर बा त लाइन ना बा लाइन होई त वोल्टेज ना बा जे मोटरों से पानी पाटो तेल किने में त फिर दिखते बाटे समस्या केहू लगा था काटे के न पड़ैता कर्जा पैसा काट के तेल किन के दमकल चलवई देरी दमकल बिगड़ गेल मिस्त्री बोला के ले अली मिस्त्री बनलक तले खेत में के पानी सूख गेलक अब फेन बनवा के फेन बिनही से चलवई देरी दमकल 3 दिन में 10 कट्टा खेत रोपाई था दमकल चला के
सूखा घोंसी तो कोई कर दलक माने साधन निके देत बात ई बा साधन दी कनो बोरी में हला दी तो बढ़िया से लोग खेत पटाई बांध पइने सब हुए हाल बा पानी के बहुत दिक्कत बा लोग तो पिए पर पानी आफत
कुने यस्तो सुविधै छैन त किसानको लागि अहिले मल खाद त्यस्तै हो.
Agriculture experts warn that aged seedlings lead to lower yields. Even if it rains now, they say the rice harvest will likely fall short of last year's output. The root cause, they argue, is the state's failure to ensure irrigation infrastructure. Despite decades of investment since around 1972, year-round irrigation is available to only 33% of arable land, leaving most farmers without access. Even a short dry spell causes significant crop losses. In light of this, experts are recommending the introduction of alternative crops. Planting drought-tolerant crops in areas where rice could not be sown may help protect food security. However, they also caution that the Madhya province government was too quick to declare the region drought-affected without thoroughly assessing alternative options.
सुक्खा क्षेत्र एकैचोटि घोषणा जुन गरिएको छ त्यो चाहिँ धेरै छिटो भयो. यति छिटो सुक्खा क्षेत्र घोषणा गर्नु हुँदैन थियो. हामीले अरु वैकल्पिक कुराहरू चाहिँ के गर्न सकिन्छ, बिउलाई कसरी जोगाउन सकिन्छ भन्ने कुरा गर्नु पर्थ्यो. यदि पानी नै परेन भने चाहिँ वैकल्पिक खेतीको लागि चाहिँ अहिलेलाई चाहिँ खास गरेर केही हरेक बालीको लागि पानी चाहिन्छ. फेरि थोरै भए पनि पानी चाहिन्छ. अब हामीले तरकारी एउटा गर्न सक्छौं अहिले यो सिजनमा, हैन? यो सिजनमा गर्न सक्ने र 12 महिना मकै हुन्छ आजभोलि र पूर्वतिर पनि भइरहेकै छ. त्यो मकैलाई हामीले चाहिँ अगाडि सार्न सकिन्छ. तर त्यो वैकल्पिक खेती गर्ने बेला अझै भएको छैन. मलाई सोध्नुहुन्छ भने अहिले चाहिँ हाम्रो बेलै भएको छैन. हामीसँग 1 महिना अझै समय छ धान रोप्नको लागि.
After declaring Madhya a drought-hit region, the provincial government has requested federal support for relief packages, but so far the federal government remains in a wait-and-see mode. The issue has reached the National Development Problem-Solving Committee chaired by the Prime Minister. Discussions are underway on how to address future climate-induced issues, including expanding deep tube wells and completing pending irrigation projects. However, no decision has been made yet regarding immediate federal support for drought-affected farmers.
विश्वास छ राज्यको तर्फबाट तत्काल सुक्खाग्रस्त घोषणाको समाचार मात्रै होइन
त्यसको व्यवस्थापन कुन ढङ्गबाट गर्न सकिन्छ भनेर राज्यले केही सोच्नुपर्छ र सोचेको पनि छ र सोच्नुपर्छ भन्ने मान्यता म राख्छु।
Meanwhile, the Nepal Agricultural Research Council has developed drought and flood-resistant rice varieties, but these technologies have not reached small or marginalized farmers. With the Tarai Madhesh region receiving almost no rainfall, by the end of the month Asar, a drought declaration became inevitable, making it clear the situation demands serious and immediate attention from all sides. With him Prasai on camera and contributions from district correspondents, a report by Suman Pantha for Kantipur News, Kathmandu.
Sports News.
Welcome back. Nepal women's national team captain and star striker Sabitra Bhandari, popularly known as Samba, has signed with Wellington Phoenix for the 2025-26 season, becoming the first ever Nepali player to join Australia's top-tier women's football league, A-League Women. Though Wellington Phoenix is based in New Zealand, in women's team competes in the Australian A-League Women, the highest division of women's football in Australia. The club has been participating in the league since the 2021-22 season and finished 9th out of 12 teams in the most recent campaign. Sabitra brings international experience to the team, having previously played for Annava Guingamp in France for 2 seasons. She expressed gratitude to her French club teammates and staff via social media upon leaving. Her diverse professional background includes stints with Hapoel Ra Anana, Israel, Gokulam Kerala, India, and a club in the Maldives, as well as playing domestically for APF club in Nepal. Most recently, Sabitra captained Nepal in the 2026 AFC Women's Asian Cup qualifiers, where Nepal narrowly missed qualification after losing to host nation Uzbekistan in a penalty shootout. Her move to Wellington Phoenix is a historic milestone for Nepali football and a significant personal achievement in her already impressive career. Now, in the SAF Women's Under-20 Championship, Nepal will face Sri Lanka today. Nepal aims to secure a second consecutive dominant victory over Sri Lanka. In the first leg on Tuesday, Nepal defeated Sri Lanka with a 7-0 win, where Meena Buddha scored a hat-trick. Nepal currently sits in second place on the points table with 6 points from 3 matches, while host nation Bangladesh tops the table with 9 points from 3 matches. In the first round, Nepal defeated Bhutan and Sri Lanka but suffered a narrow 3-2 loss to Bangladesh. Despite trailing 2-0, Nepal made an impressive comeback to level the score, only to concede a decisive goal in injury time. The team at the top of the table will be crowned the champion. If Nepal wins today, they will put pressure on Bangladesh, making the final group stage match between Nepal and Bangladesh a virtual final. Today's match between Nepal and Sri Lanka will kick off at 2:45 p.m. Nepali time at the Bashundhara Kings Arena in Dhaka. The world #1 Arena Sabalenka has withdrawn from the Canadian Open in Montreal, citing fatigue. According to Tennis Canada, the Belarusian star decided to skip the tournament, which serves as preparation for the upcoming US Open, in order to rest. Though Sabalenka expressed excitement about playing on the North American hardcourt swing, she said she needed to prioritize recovery and has opted not to travel to Montreal. The Canadian Open is scheduled to take place from July 26 to August 7. Sabalenka recently reached the Wimbledon semifinals, where she lost to American Amanda Anisimova. Prior to that, she was the runner-up at the French Open, losing to Coco Gauff in the final. Now, Barcelona's Lamine Yamal has officially been handed the club's iconic number 10 jersey. The Spanish club confirmed that the 18-year-old will wear the jersey famously worn by Lionel Messi in the past. Yamal earned the number 10 shirt following an outstanding season where he scored 18 goals and provided 25 assists, helping Barcelona secure a domestic table, winning La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Spanish Super Cup. Barcelona, however, fell short in the Champions League semi-finals. Last season, Yamal wore the number 19 jersey. Often regarded as Messi's heir, Yamal has already committed his long-term future to the club and will stay at Camp Nou until 2031. Barcelona president Joan Laporta presented the number 10 jersey to Yamal during a special ceremony. The jersey carries great significance, having been worn by legends like Messi, who won 34 trophies for Barcelona and scored 672 goals before leaving the club in 2021. Before Messi, Diego Maradona and Ronaldinho also donned the number 10 shirt. After Messi's departure, Ansu Fati was given the number 10, but he struggled under the weight of expectations and is currently on loan at AS Monaco. Yamal expressed that his first dream was to debut for Barcelona and wear the number 10 jersey. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.